In this series, we're looking at how each Infinity Stone reflects the theme of the movie it's in. Up this week is Thor: The Dark World, and I'll admit, this one's a challenge because unlike Doctor Strange, this movie doesn't repeat its theme 19 times.
Time beyond time.
Time loops. Endless.
Time.
Loop.
Study of time.
Time.
Plus, the film isn't that great. There's a lot of plot threads that go nowhere, like a love triangle between Thor, Lady Sif, and Jane. And much of the movie's story relies on chance. Millions or so years ago, the Dark Elves were going to use the Ether, or the Reality Stone, to end creation, but were stopped by the Asgardians. Then in present day, the only human with a romantic connection to an Asgardian stumbles across the Ether. This occurs the exact moment that two Asgardians are talking about her, one of whom is omnipotent and sees her slip off the grid. The Dark Elves wake up and attack Asgard, not knowing that the very artifact they seek, the Ether, has coincidentally found its way to Asgard as well. Even the film's production was chaotic, with Natalie Portman's choice for director, Patty Jenkins, being fired during pre-production and replaced with Game of Thrones director Alan Taylor, who did not enjoy the experience. It's almost as if the film is being driven by a chaotic, uncontrollable force. Wait, hold on. The Ether is a chaotic, uncontrollable force. So maybe chaos is the theme of Thor: The Dark World, and maybe this movie is smarter than you think. Stay with me on this. The Ether is the embodiment of chaos. Unlike the other Infinity Stones, it's found through chance, and it's the only relic that takes liquid form. Consider where the stones come from. In Guardians of the Galaxy, the Collector says,
"Before creation itself, there were 6 singularities. And the remnants of these systems were forged into Infinity Stones."
I always thought the stones simply existed as the embodiments of time, space, etc. But the Collector says they were forged, meaning someone created them from these pre-existing singularities. Unlike the other 5 stones, we know who created the Ether, the Dark Elves. And we know the singularity they were forged from.
Long before the birth of light, there was darkness. And from that darkness came the Dark Elves. Their leader, Malekith, made a weapon out of that darkness, and it was called the Ether.
So what is the darkness that Odin is referencing? Well, according to some quantum theories, before the Big Bang, there were no laws of physics, only chaos. The Ether was born from this chaotic soup of pre-creation. Another quantum theory states that someday the universe will end in a big crunch and will inevitably return to its original chaotic state. The inevitable decline into chaos is called entropy, the trend of the universe toward disorder and death. Life is the constant struggle against this chaotic trend, and the Ether was made to destroy life. It's a parasitic force that would feast on the universe itself, just as it slowly destroys its host, Jane Foster.
It seeks out host bodies, drawing strength from their life force.
Malekith and the Dark Elves don't want to conquer reality, they want to end it. They want chaos to win. The convergence is causing chaotic events across the 9 realms. The laws of physics are bending, and the spatial relationship between worlds is beginning to thin. Most of the characters' arcs are about overcoming the chaos in their lives. When the movie begins, Thor is struggling with external chaos caused by Loki's destruction of the Bifrost.
9 realms erupted into chaos, wars were raging, marauders were pillaging. I had to put an end to the slaughter.
Jane and Thor find their way back to Earth because of something as chaotic and unreliable as a cell phone signal. In Norse mythology, Loki is the god of mischief, an agent of chaos. However, in the Avengers, he sees himself as an agent of order.
The humans slaughter each other in droves while you idly fret.
I mean to rule them.
Odin disputes this, saying Loki owes his existence to chance.
Your birthright was to die! Cast out onto a frozen rock.
After Frigga's murder, Loki's first reaction is to succumb to despair and surround himself with chaos by trashing his cell. However, Thor leads him on a more constructive path, and he reaffirms his loyalty to Asgard. By the end of the film, he has transformed himself into Odin, the symbol of order in the realm. Jane's life has been thrown into chaos since Thor left Earth. She's struggling to move on romantically, but I mean, how do you settle after this, right? Her research is at a standstill. She's living with her mom.
I show up to work at the lab / your mom's house.
She's been working on random islands, and she doesn't even know that her intern has hired an intern. After Frigga's murder, Odin is consumed with rage. He can't control his grief, and his hatred threatens to spill out and consume the realm, like the Ether is consuming Jane.
We will fight! The last Asgardian breath.
Thor even points out that, like Malekith, Odin is becoming a force for chaos.
And how Are you different from Malekith?
Eric Selvig is struggling with internal chaos as he's still coping with the repercussions of Loki's mind control.
I've had a god in my brain.
Selvig takes control of his own life when he learns to wield chaos as a tool. He takes advantage of the reality warping convergence to save Thor and Jane by sending Malekith's ship to to the Dark World. The film's finale is chaos writ large, with random portals displacing the action to different worlds. Thor's hammer, a symbol of order, doesn't know which way to turn. Bilge Snipes are rampaging around Greenwich, interns are throwing cars.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So maybe Thor the Dark World is about what happens when we let despair, grief, and nothingness consume us. How, in the end, if you work together with your friends and family, you can overcome emotional chaos and restore order to your life. Or maybe it's a film with a weak creative voice because it's built from a studio's checklist, Frankenstein's monster of ideas from multiple sources, and herded together by a serviceable director accustomed to functioning as part of a larger machine who is the perfect choice for a work that is only a mandatory placeholder until we get to the studio's next big crossover film. In any case, this chaotic mess makes me appreciate Jeff Goldblum even more. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts on Thor the Dark World in the comments. If you're finding us for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any theories about where the Soul Stone is, please let us know that in the comments too. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.